Welcome to Wild Her Wisdom, the podcast where bold meets brilliant and wisdom gets a little wild. Join Shelley and Mary as they dive deep into real conversations about life, leadership, creativity, and everything in between. We're here to spark laughter, light up inspiration, and celebrate the wild and wise woman inside you. Whether you're chasing dreams, finding your balance, or just in need of a good laugh, you are right where you belong. Let's jump into today's journey together. This is Wild Her Wisdom.
Welcome back to Wild Her Wisdom. Today, I'm so excited. We are speaking with a beautiful woman who is on the path of transformation. She came from the high stakes world of finance to helping others find peace, presence, and power through meditation, mindfulness, Reiki, and energy work. Tamara Glenn is a certified meditation and mindfulness teacher, a Reiki healer, and a consciousness coach. I cannot wait to talk more about that. She's the founder of Be Love Meditation Studio in Michigan and has guided hundreds of women toward calmer minds and braver hearts. Tamara, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with both of you.
This is so great. I cannot wait to dive into your story.
I'm excited.
Finance to meditation. I think probably a lot of people in finance need meditation.
Right.
So,
I did.
So let's just jump right into it, Tamara. Tell us your story of transformation from your career in finance to the sacred work that you're doing now in meditation and energy healing. What was the turning point for you?
Well, actually, it was an auto accident, and that's how things work, right? Sometimes we don't get to choose what wakes us up. My first job was a bank teller at 16. I worked co-op, so I worked about 30 hours a week while I was in high school, my junior and senior year. And then I went on to do other things, and I ended up back in banking again and back in investment field in 1999. But it wasn't until 2010 when I was involved in an auto accident where I was forced to be still. I was my vehicle that I was in was struck by a drunk driver. He crossed over the line and both vehicles were totaled. And I ended up having torn tendons on my right ankle that required surgery. And then once I was able to put on my weight on that foot, then I had to have 3 surgeries on my left knee. So I was forced to be still. And that's when the universe, God, source, creator stepped in and brought to me a friend that I'd known for a few years. She said, I wanted to reach out to you because I'm coaching students now and I'm teaching meditation. I just received my certification and I thought, I might as well. I can't move much, so I can be still now. And I started, and the first time I sat in silence, I was just mind blown. It was fascinating. I discovered how all my parts of my body were so disconnected. And I felt myself go into this like light, and it was amazing. And I had to explore this. And so we continued to work together, and I ended up going to a retreat in Costa Rica for 8 nights. And that was in 2012. So she caught me at the right time. It was perfect. And then I continued, in the investment field as a financial advisor, male-dominated industry.
Yes.
I started out as an independent advisor, and then I was approached and recruited by a bank, so I became a VP in banks. I moved around a few times. When the housing crisis happened, I formed my own firm, and I had that for 3 years, which grew every year. And that was 2009 to 2012. So that was right during that time that I was going through physical therapy, but I continued to work through it. And after I just continued. It was my lifeline, really. With doing investments, it was such high stress. And with having 2 sons and wanting to be at every field trip and every sporting event, and then serving on a couple boards, wonderful charities I was so blessed to be a part of, and then deciding that one of them was Child and Family Charities. There was a young man who, didn't have a place to go. So then my ex-husband and I, we became foster parents for this young man. And so what else? Let's add one thing. But it was wonderful. And I don't have any regrets about, what I did or how I did it. It's just interesting how the whole path continues to take us if we follow. I would run and hide. If I'd have a 5-minute break, or I would get in my car and go to a park, and even 5 minutes
Hmm.
5 minutes really helps reset. That's really, I mean, research shows that even 5 minutes a day will change the structures of your brain. So I continue to once in a while do Reiki on someone. That happened too. That happened after that retreat in Costa Rica. One of the girls said, "You have to go see Jamie." So I went to see Jamie, and she said, "Hey, I have an energy healing class in the morning." I had no idea what I was doing. I show up, I'm getting my first attunement to be a Reiki master. And so that's how it happens. But when you show up, when you're open and you're on the right path, all the things align. And that's what
I love
happened
that.
for me. Yeah.
Yes.
So you describe yourself as a guide for women coming back to themselves. So what was the moment when you knew you needed to come back to yourself?
When you're not in alignment, and trust me, I've been in alignment, then not in alignment. And when you're not in alignment, your life just gets off track and you maybe make choices that you wouldn't have chosen. So an example was when I was doing investments, I'm working, 50 to 70 hours a week, doing all the things. Both of my sons one was maybe middle school, one in high school. And I realized I started having pains in my body. I mean, I started having like neck pain and my low back was out, and it just shows up, right? When we
Hmm.
are not listening to our body, when we're not taking time for ourselves, self-care, it'll show up as a dis-ease within our body.
Right. Shelley
And
always says, what the body
The
keeps the
body keeps the
score.
score. That's a book,
Yes.
and it's true. The body keeps the score.
that's Bessel van der Kolk. And I study all
Mhm.
of these people, Gabor Mate, Ram Dass, all the different types of healing modalities that are out there for us that are non-conventional. And I don't give medical advice. I'm not a physician. There are so many amazing things to access now. With technology, sometimes people, with digital detoxes, we need those. But there's so much. There's a wealth of information for us and resources available with Audible and all these
Yeah.
wonderful scientists, and how spirituality and sciences like merge together, and it's just so beautiful. Um,
Yes. I love that. And I like what you say about basically, using our powers that we have on the internet for good. There is so many wonderful, powerful things that we can learn if that's what we choose to do with our digital time. But, that's up to each of us. But I also love that you said that your body made you sit in stillness, like you had to stop. And oftentimes that's when people find like, oh my gosh, I'm never in silence. I never, pay attention to my surroundings, and being forced to do that gave you a great appreciation. I absolutely love that. You say that mindfulness is the difference between reacting and responding. Can you walk us through what that looks like to you in real life, especially for women under pressure, which you understand, and I'm sure many of your clients are as well?
Absolutely. So the definition of mindfulness that I like to use is mindfulness is paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment. So we can be mindful. It's a way of living, regardless of what you're doing, paying attention with childlike wonder, noticing things you maybe wouldn't notice as if for the first time. And you can wash dishes mindfully.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk mindfully. There's so many different things that everything we do, it's a way of life. You can choose that. And coming from a former multitasker, monotasking is a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Research shows. And it's just so funny that when we think of being mindful, it's doing everything a little bit slower than normal and just paying attention to the details. There's so much we miss in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to say our attention is our greatest expression of love,
Yes.
being truly in the moment, right here, right now,
Yes. I wrote a
fully
whole blog
present.
about that. I heard you say that
Yes.
in an event I went to, and I wrote an entire blog about that. Your attention is your greatest expression of love. That just hit me right in the heart because it's so true.
Yeah, gives me goosebumps. Many of our listeners feel drawn to meditation, but they don't think they have time or the focus. I even struggle with focus. I tried this morning and I just kept getting out of my head with it. So, what do you tell women like me who are still working on it?
Hmm. Well, it's a very natural practice. It's very organic. And as long as you set aside the time and the space for your practice, that's the hardest part. Just set your timer. There's so many free apps out there now. Insight Timer, I'm actually a teacher on there now. I only have a couple meditations on there, but I'll be adding more. So many free resources. So I recommend, set aside that time and space for your practice. It's like putting your own oxygen mask on so that you can be there for your loved ones. And I laugh about, there's a saying that if you don't have 20 minutes to meditate, that means you really need to meditate.
Yes. Yes.
So true. So true.
I think it's like journaling. People think it's hard, like you have to do it a certain way. So I'd love to hear you explain that it's your way. Like, right.
Absolutely. I always say there's no right or wrong, good or bad. Just show up for yourself. And if it's silent, there's so many forms of meditation, and everyone can meditate if taught correctly. Unless you have like a learning disability that doesn't allow you to, very few people cannot meditate. It's our natural state of being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my goal, is just to help as many people as I can meditate, especially in the times we're in. I just want people to have that remembrance of what it feels like to relax and come home to themselves, right?
Yeah. And I've been a runner my whole life. And to me, running is meditation.
Yes.
Because you're in the moment, right? I know some people, I was talking with a client who loves washing dishes because they're just in the moment. Meditation is anytime you're actually present and really aware of what you're doing, right? It's like, how many times do you drive home and think, how the hell did I get here? Because your head was everywhere else, right? That is not meditation. That's not meditation.
Quite the opposite, right?
It's quite the opposite, right? But you've built an entire community rooted in presence and healing, and you're constantly having, retreats and classes, and I know you teach at several places. You're helping a lot of people, but what have those communities taught you?
Woo. I always say that we're all teachers and we're all students. We're all just here in life, walking each other home, like Ram Dass says, and we're here to grow and learn and expand. And I learn so much from every single student, whether it's a young person. We learn so much from young people, or whether it's male or female. I do work with men too, and I love men. My sons are men, but I understand the niche. This particular area for women, and learning, just have so many hats to wear so often. Yeah, there's a saying that says, lose your mind and come to your senses. So when we're mindful, we're using our other sense, all of our senses. We're really paying attention to not just looking at the leaves on a tree, but how many different colors of green can you find in the tree?
Mm-hmm.
Just the childlike wonder, and all the sounds. Are the sounds near or far? And then you can listen to when they come and go, and there's so many fun. It's so fun. It's such a creative space to be in for me, and it's so opposite of what I used to do. And I could go on and on. I'm talking so much.
That's incredible.
We love it.
I am I'm a deep empath. I can feel a person's energy when they enter the room. And I have to say, the vibe you're putting out to us right now is incredibly calm and peaceful and beautiful. And I love it. You really bridge the spiritual and practical so beautifully. So how do you help women align their inner work with the outer world they're navigating, especially the world we're living in right now?
Well, thank you for that compliment. It means a lot to me. I feel that the more we learn the practices, the more we just talking about it, just listening and noticing. So what meditation does, regardless if it's a state of being or over time, it helps to increase the size of our prefrontal cortex. It actually changes the structure of your brain. And that's reasoning, memory, and it helps you to be able to, respond rather than react. Allows you to be the observer of a situation. Mm-hmm. And then it reduces the size of the amygdala, the fight or flight area of our brain. Sometimes we can get stuck in that. And meditation, there are ancient and modern techniques. There's so many different ways to do it, which is why it's so fun to use these apps with all these different types of meditations out there. You can search for which one you're interested in or you want to try and explore it to find which ones you like the best. But it helps to settle the nervous system. It helps you to be more aware. self-awareness, reduces stress. There are just so many benefits to it that once you start to really do it, when you commit, and I love to share these 5 essentials, which make it so much easier for everyone. And they're on my door hangers that I have hanging on the door, so I always pass them out. Number 1, thoughts are okay. Thoughts will come and go. It's the nature of our brain to think, just like it's the nature of our eyes to see. So when your mind is pulling you away, just gently return your attention back to the focus of the meditation over and over again. That's why we call it a practice. And then number 2 is be kind to yourself. Just appreciate yourself for taking this time out for time in. And it's a radical act of self-care, you know? And number 3 is, welcome everything, expect nothing. So each practice is you just be really open to whatever you experience, resisting nothing. And number 4, don't try too hard. Just show up, set aside the time and the space for your practice. And finally, number 5, stick with it. So if it's an absolute emergency, which is very rare, then you can stop. But other than that, stick with it. An email or a text is not an emergency. It'll still be there. Continue to meditate the entire time. And then if you need to move because your knee is cramped or ankle's cramped, then move, but do so mindfully, and then return back to the practice. And if there is an emergency and you have to stop, for example, it's a phone call that's very important, then go back to the practice and finish it.
Right. Can you repeat number 3 again? It gave me goosebumps, and I feel like we need to write it down and wear it on a t-shirt.
Okay. So welcome everything, expect nothing.
Yeah.
And you can't make a certain experience. There are really wonderful things that can happen during meditation, and it's working whether you realize it or not. And sometimes you don't see the effects until later. Most of the time you don't. You feel better, but others will notice in you before you do.
Yes. I love that because we can be so competitive. Like, I'm going to be the best meditator in the world. And I've regularly meditated for probably at least 10 years of my life. And it's just, some days are great and you feel like you're floating on air. And some days it's like, that's a thought. That's a thought. That's a thought. That's a thought. Like you just, acknowledge them and they just keep coming. So, it is what it is. You just show up and dedicate the time to yourself, right?
And that's the practice, though. The thoughts are coming and you're acknowledging and you're going back over and over. And that's the practice. And that's what you require then. You always get what you need from each practice.
Yes. Yes. So thinking about meditation, particularly for women in leadership, what do you believe the greatest gift to women stepping into this practice is? And leadership to me is a way of being. It's not necessarily a title. It's a way of being in the world. You can be a leader and be a stay-at-home mom. You can be a leader and be a CEO. You can be a leader and be an individual contributor. It's the way that you show up into the world and the way you interact with people.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like when you meditate, it allows you to be the observer. So you're able to step back. You're in a situation, a high stress situation, whether it's with your kids, whether it's with a coworker, and recognize you have the awareness that you have a choice, a pivot point. How am I going to respond right now? And giving yourself a couple of minutes to really figure out how you get to choose. You have free will. You're aware that you do. And so then deciding to respond rather than react. I mean, how many times have we reacted and regretted it? And having the awareness to step back and take some time if you need to and just really observe what's going on here. And then also the compassion that you learn with meditation. Because when you can look at someone who's angry at you and realize it, not take it personally and realize that's coming from a place of pain, and we don't know what's going on in their life. We don't know what has happened to them, what trauma they've experienced. Truly have compassion for all people, even people that aren't treating you very good.
Yeah, there's so much power in that.
There is. I always think the way that I try to think about this, and I've said it before probably to both of you, is when you're able to look at people with that compassion and with empathy, regardless of how they're showing up to you or for you, they're just not ready for the work yet. And that's okay.
Beautifully said. So looking back, what's one belief about yourself that you had to really shift to become who you are today?
Okay, so mine is the perfectionism. Like, if I'm not going to do it unless I do it perfect. And so I had to get over that. So I show up really messy sometimes. I even have a baseball cap that says I'm not for everyone. And that's
Shirt. I have that shirt.
I need the socks now. We'll be a match set.
I love it. And also worrying what other people think, you know? It's interesting how so much of our life we hold back because we're concerned about, well, what will they say about me? What will they think about me? Life's too short,
Yeah.
right? It's not you do you. And my one of my teachers told me it was I would because I wanted to post maybe some poetry. Or that's the other thing is when I started meditating, I started having all these creative ideas and expressions. I started painting. I've never painted before, and I wrote a book, and I just got so excited about. And I can use all these different things I do, as creative outlets. And you mentioned socks, so at some of my retreats, we'll take fabric markers and we'll write powerful statements on them, like awesome, period, loved, all these things, powerful.
Love that.
Yeah, it's so fun. Just all these different creative ideas we get to use to help empower each other. And
But you're opening yourself up to what's out
Yes.
there, right? And I love what you said about it being a practice, because if we can't take that moment in like a low stakes, like, oh, my child just said something kind of flippant to me. And, that's pretty low stakes for a parent, right? To be able to step back and go, how do I want to respond to this right now? We're not going to be able to do that at work with our boss that's a bully, or, with someone, that it's a higher stakes situation. So it's about that practice and that centering. And I think that's the message that I'm getting out of, and that's what I'm getting from your energy right now. It's about being centered and being able to choose how you're going to show up, which is a beautiful place to be.
Yes. And it almost takes us back to the very beginning of this podcast with the words, be still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Tamara, we are getting ready to go into one of my favorite times. It's called our no filter finale. So
okay.
we're going to ask you some questions. You just say what comes up. It could be short, sweet, spicy, whatever you want.
I'll try to keep it short.
Swearing is allowed if you feel like it.
Yes.
All right, you going to kick it off, Mare?
All right. What is a belief about meditation or spirituality that you used to hold and no longer do?
I used to think that people that meditated were so chill. Like, how did they ever get anything done? Like, they used to irritate me. Like, ew, like, look at you. How do you get anything done? Yeah, fun fact.
Why are you so calm? All right. Tell us about a moment when your spiritual practice failed you or it felt like it did to you.
This is a good one. So when I was going through my teacher training, it was a 300-hour course. It was over 10 months with research projects and presentations. I ended up going through another just powerful spiritual awakening from meditating so much. And I learned firsthand about purification and dark night of the soul again. And like, I'm grateful that the experience happened, but it was a little overwhelming. So that there are times when too much meditation at a time can cause you to have these physical, emotional, mental symptoms that can be very overwhelming if you don't have the right guidance.
Wow.
So.
Very interesting.
Nice to know.
Yes. So if you hadn't become a meditation teacher or healer, what would you be doing right now?
Ooh. I feel like I probably would still be doing investments. And I loved the people and helping people. I loved hand-holding them through their life experiences and through generations. I did it 25 years. And, I would help people that are widowed and hug them, as an empath. There's still a space for that in that world, but my passion wasn't there. And what I kept getting from people was, you can't stop doing investments. You make too much money. And I'm like, but I'm not happy.
Yeah.
So you have to choose. And then I thought, it's one of those things where when I make this much money, then, I'm going to feel like I'm complete. And then when I make this much money, and it just keeps getting higher and higher, and you're, well, what, there's more here, and I'm not feeling it. And like when I lose the 20 pounds or when I get the promotion, and then you get it, then you're like, so if you're not living life to the fullest for, your path, your journey, your dharma, then you'll feel unfulfilled. And I'm just so grateful that I get to do this now. Like I'm obsessed.
Oh, that's
Oh,
amazing.
that is a beautiful message to people. All right, Tamara, I'm gonna say if you have an inner critic, I have one, her name is Seamus. Or if you have a fear, what is it still whispering to you?
It still will pop in because I'm so sensitive to energy. So if I post something on social media, I can feel the energy from it. It's either going to be someone likes it, they don't like it. I can feel it though. And so my inner critic, I like to call her Linda. So I say, listen, Linda, I'm going to do it anyway because I can and I want to. And you just need to step back because I'm not going to listen to that nonsense. I'm just not going to listen. I don't care. I don't care what people think about me. You
I
can't
love
because if
that.
you're coming from truth and love, you can never be wrong. And people need the message I have to share.
I love these inner critic names. So Shelley is Seamus, you have
Mhm.
Linda. I think maybe I should be Sister Mary Margaret or something judgy because that's what my inner voice does. It judges me. So listen,
Mm.
Sister Mary Margaret. So what is the hardest truth you've told a client that they didn't want to hear but really needed to hear?
It's very intuitive. It's like, every person's different. Some people need to be like you, very direct. Okay. And then some people, you can use a question. Well, what about, have you ever thought about, and then
Mhm.
it's just such a beautiful thing to see the lights come on. Because I know that feeling for myself from going through experiences and working with teachers and counselors and coaches. And it's just so beautiful because they have to arrive on their own, obviously, but you're there to guide and hold space for them in a safe place,
Mhm.
non-judgmental. And yeah, I would say, I mean, I have had to be really real with people. Like, because I've had so many life experiences, it's good and bad, that I can relate to most people. So people will walk into the studio, they'll find me on Google and they're coming in for a Reiki session. That's really popular because people will come to me a lot of times for that because it's a quick fix, right?
Mhm.
Instead of coaching meditation for, week after week and really going through that process, they'll start out with that. So people find me because of their own experiences, and it's interesting how our souls
Yes.
align for what we're yearning for or looking for. And
Finish this sentence. I show up most powerfully when.
when I be my authentic self, like right now, I mean, I can't live any other way. And we're energetic beings, and we can sense when someone's not being real.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, and when we realize that lack is a lie, we don't have to compete. There's no reason to. We're all different. We all have our own unique gifts and abilities. And the more we can continue to be authentic and let our own light shine and not hide behind trying to look a certain way or act a certain way, just be authentic. That is so attractive.
Hmm.
That authenticity is so attractive.
It is. It's our greatest gift. How can
Yes.
our listeners find you, Tamara, as we're wrapping up? How can they find you? They're like, I love everything I hear. Now I want to go do it all.
Yeah, well, it's always evolving. I have a website, tamaraglenn.com. My web developer, Ginger Sorensen, is a friend of mine, and she did an amazing job with making it very streamlined, and everything is on there right now. So it's tamaraglenn.com. It's very simple. You can reach out to me via email. I have all my events and services available on there. So I do mini retreats that are 3-hour immersions here at the studio. I do those every other month. I do weekend retreats, one-on-one coaching. I teach at the MAC and offer Reiki sessions in the MAC as well, Michigan Athletic Club in East Lansing. It's continuing to evolve. So I do workplace presentations. I recently, with one of the students that came in for a Reiki session, the first time we met, she said she wanted to do sound healing, and now we do sound baths here at the studio as well. And of course, I can't
Wow.
just have it be a sound bath, which is already phenomenal, a sound bath. I have to incorporate a meditation in and out of the sound bath, and then we'll do some somatic movement, getting out of our heads and into our bodies before we settle in for an hour. And then I offer Reiki to anyone that's open to it while they're receiving the sound bath. So I have to use my creative energy to make it more juicy, more fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. You have a
That sounds
beautiful
amazing.
studio right in Mason, Michigan. Tamara, I want to thank you so much for being with us and reminding us that presence is always within our reach if we give ourselves the time. To all of our Wild Her Wisdom listeners, I hope this episode was an invitation that you're accepting to pause, breathe, and believe in your own transformation. See you next time.
Stay wild.
And just like that, beautiful soul, we have wrapped up another episode of Wild Her Wisdom. But don't let the journey end here. Come connect with us. Follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page, and visit wildherwisdom.com to catch up on episodes, grab extra inspiration, and stay part of our Wild Her community. And remember, the conversations here are for your inspiration and empowerment, not professional, medical, or therapeutic advice. Trust yourself and reach out to qualified pros when you need to. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and keep living your Wild Her life. You are powerful, you are wise, and you are absolutely unstoppable.